we have some back.
All right, what's up everyone? Thanks for joining us. We'll get started here momentarily. It's a pretty windy night in Manhattan. It's quite cold too. It's officially fall, and it definitely feels like it. We'll just do our nightly audio and visual check. So if you guys can hear us and if we are streaming in 1080p, just go ahead and give a thumbs up in the chat and we'll go ahead and get started in just a few moments. Thanks so much for joining. It's going to be another very busy night. Lots of traffic coming in from all over the city. This is a pretty unique view looking down towards the MetLife building and Grand Central Station. And we're right on the corner of East 55th Street and Park. This is the main Ferrari showroom. Oh. Thank God that guy didn't fall, thank God. It's easy to trip here in New York with all the sidewalks cracked and all that stuff, so. Anyway, let's go ahead and kick this off. So good evening everybody and welcome back to Walks in Wall Street. Today is September 25th, 2024. It is a Wednesday. It is officially the middle of the week. Hopefully everyone's week is going fantastic so far. I think we've covered a lot throughout Monday, throughout Tuesday. We covered obviously the Fed's decision to cut interest rates by 50 basis points, bringing the Fed funds rate to 4 3/4 to 5%. We also talked about the reaction in commodities. And yesterday we spent a lot of time talking about China and Asia. But More specifically, we spent a lot of time talking about China as it relates to their monetary policy and what's going on over there economically. There is a lot to be concerned about as it relates to China. Their economy is not doing well, frankly put, and the government is sort of being forced to backstop the market in a few ways. Obviously, in terms of the central bank easing monetary policy, but number two, the government going right in there and actually buying stocks and even cutting mortgage rates to kind of save the housing market. But it's not all bad news in Asia. As you know, I've been a bull on Japan, even after the yen carry trade kind of unwinding. I think you're going to see Japanese equities perform, if not outperform, over the next few years. But there's one particular place we haven't talked about a lot in terms of their equity market slash stock market, but we have talked about this particular place a lot as it relates to being a beacon of free market capitalism and just a very easy place to do business, very easy business-friendly environment, and that place is Singapore. So we'll talk a little bit about that tonight. I think that is going to be one to watch. I'll do a little bit more explaining later on in the live stream. But very, very similar to the opportunity that I saw about 6 to 8 months ago in gold, about 6 to 8 months ago in Bitcoin and even equities, US equities. I think you're going to see a very similar opportunity unfold in Singapore now. Literally, the time is now, so we'll talk about that. Again, East 54th Street, Park Avenue. It's going to be very busy. It is still UN week. I think the President of the United States is still here in New York City at the JW Marriott Essex House. So let's go around the city, walk around, have a good time. But first, let's see who we have in the audience. I see Mr. Bagman says Mayor Adams just got indicted. Whoa, I didn't hear that. That's major breaking news. Holy crap. A Collector's Dream says traffic is terrible. I see the Mighty Bull is here. Alan, always a pleasure. RPT, cheers. Anna is joining us. I see the one and only Professor Dario from Argentina. That's another country we need to talk about. Their stock market is doing very well, and I think they're going to continue to do well as inflation comes down. I think the president of Argentina just met with Elon Musk in New York City, maybe Monday or Tuesday. So that's pretty exciting. Mary, what's up? Irish is here. I see Steve. This is Air Force One just departed JFK tonight at about 9 p.m. Okay, so maybe that should ease up the traffic a little bit. Still seems pretty busy. I mean, it's usually absolutely dead on Park Avenue this time of night. It's about 9:11 p.m. But it seems to be quite busy. You have traffic coming from all directions. Looks like by the old BlackRock headquarters, it is gridlock. And Park Avenue facing uptown looks to be completely gridlocked as well. So Wise Owl is here, Trading Polar Bear. Cheers to you. I see Adam, I see Sally, Trippin' Music. What's going on? Trust you're well, long time no see. Let's go down by 270 Park, JP Morgan Chase office tower. Wow, Vinny says Mayor Eric Adams will be criminally charged with corruption. Well, I don't want to speculate, but we'll see. I mean, that's crazy. So I would assume the feds are on this case. New England Crypto, what's going on? Trust you're well in the crypto world, Tatted T. New England Crypto, I don't know if you saw, but if you go on X, there was a lot of talk between Mark Cuban and Anthony Scaramucci about our good friend over at the Securities and Exchange Commission, Gary Gensler, calling for him to step down. I'm not sure if you saw that, but there was a lot of back and forth today with our friends Anthony Scaramucci and Mark Cuban as it relates to Bitcoin. Sam M, what's going on? C Notes says, Tom just started following last week. Do you go live nightly? Well, thank you so much for joining us, and the answer is yes. So for all of those who are new here, welcome. So it's kind of a two-part series on this channel. So every single night, right around 8:45 or 9 p.m., we go live from Midtown Manhattan or Miami, depending on where we are. Walk around the city, kind of talk about the financial markets, and just kind of have a good time, explore the city. Then every single day at 5:15 or 6:15, depending on the schedule, we post a standalone walking video from a different part of the city or Miami. So definitely join us there. So thank you to all of our new people. And the only other thing is every other Thursday, right as the market closes, we also publish all of our equity research for free on our Substack. So if you want to join us over there, you could scan the QR code on your screen, punch in your email, and that is where all of our equity research will be posted. We have about 2 years of research articles there for you to use. We don't charge for it. It's just a great free way to support the stream and the channel. So check us out over there at the Behind the Street newsletter. Hey, Professor Darillo says, I recently saw the Upper West Side video. Yeah, the Upper West Side is changing in a major way. Now, if you talk about, New York City real estate, the big developers that make the biggest splashes, particularly on Billionaire's Row, the first one that comes to mind is Extel. The CEO and founder is Gary Burnett. He did 157 West 57th Street. He is also responsible for Central Park Tower, and he has another development going up on the Upper West Side on 65th or 66th, I believe. 50 West, it's either 65th or 66th, but that's going to be an awesome new development overlooking Central Park West, and we covered that in the last video. So definitely the Upper West Side is going to be changing a lot, and Extel is one of the better developers in the city. Looks like they have a service just getting out. Christian Neal says, hey Tom, watching from just north of Sydney, Australia. Currently rain showers here and a cool 55 degrees. Have a great night. Well, stay dry. And I would love to visit Australia at least once in my lifetime. And I believe you guys are headed into summer. So our winter in the US is your summer, is that correct? So it's actually going to be really nice weather there. So maybe it'd be most advantageous for someone in the US or in the Northeast to take a vacation to Australia January, February. Maybe it'd be nice and warm. So Alan says, I hope nobody hears in the direct path of hurricane. So I heard about that, but I didn't hear about it. Cosmo typed in the chat earlier today that there's supposed to be a pretty sizable hurricane that's going to hit the state of Florida. Not the east coast of Florida. It's more looking like the panhandle of Florida. So is anyone in the direct path of that hurricane? Hope not. Hopefully it'll dissipate, but it's looking like it'll hit the panhandle of Florida. Yankee Traveler says, hey, this is my first time here. Well, thank you so much for joining us. So they still have this street blocked off because you have the Lotte New York Palace. So a lot of the diplomats stay at this 5-star hotel, and it's looking like there's still a lot of police presence here. They have the other side of the block closed off. They obviously have the NYPD officers here, and it looks like one Secret Service or something or other, DHS perhaps, something of that nature. Holy crap, Mark Francis is the 10th largest hurricane on record. I wonder why I haven't heard about it. I just don't watch the news, maybe? I don't know, I really haven't even seen it on Twitter. Steve says Tampa Bay Airport is already closed tomorrow. Everything is canceled. Holy crap. Doc 7 says 50 West 66th Street is the Xtel development. Thank you, Doc 7. I appreciate it. Hey, British Gray, speaking of Tampa, Florida, hopefully you're staying safe with the pending hurricane coming. I mean, my God. Stephen Bate, what's going on? Lori C. Dean Martin says lots of rain here in London. Welcome to all of our viewers from London as well. Let's see what else we got here. Hey, Patient Lobster says, hey Tom, greetings from Israel. What's going on? Hopefully you're staying safe. I have a client of mine who is in Israel right now, and he says it's really crazy with the air raids going off. So hopefully you're staying safe. It's what, like 2 or 3 in the morning in Israel right now, something like that. Maybe a little earlier, a little later. But please stay safe over there. C notes says hurricane just developed this morning. Forecasters have been talking about it for a while though. 10-4, 10-4. Patient Lobster says 420. Copy that. Now I want to show you the progress on 270 Park Avenue. For those of you who don't know, JP Morgan Chase CEO is Jamie Dimon. They are almost finished with construction on 270 Park, and look at how massive this thing is. It's such an interesting piece of engineering because the base of the building kind of goes down into those specific kind of like triangular things, and it has this like cantilever overhang. They have all the scaffolding down, so you're able to see what the front doors of the building is going to look like. So you're going to have all of those, not like turnstiles, but the revolving doors for all the employees to go in. And the building kind of hangs over the street. It's such a unique. Let me see if I could turn on the wide. I know it's a little bit dark, so it's probably not going to turn out well, but look at that thing. You could see it a lot better now that all of the scaffolding is off of it. But look at how crazy, that thing is amazing. I mean, just look at those, like, these are all the support beams that go down. And the reason why they had to do that is because I believe the Metro North and the subway goes directly under here. So they had to build around the train tracks. It's pretty cool. It definitely feels a lot bigger in person, I could guarantee you that. Oh, Alexander M. says, my university in Central Florida is still making us go to school on Friday. Well, be safe. That's all I could say. Be safe, my friend. C notes his thoughts on Wynn's possible development at the Hudson Yards. So Related is really in charge of all that, and it's going to be called Phase 2 of the Hudson Yards. I'm going to make a standalone walking video showing you exactly where all of the new buildings at the Hudson Yards are going to go up. I'll kind of tell you a little bit about it. If you walk all the way towards the West Side Highway, right on the Hudson River, there is a newly opened entrance to the New York City's High Line. And if you access that new section of the High Line, you can actually see where they're going to be doing the groundbreaking for all of the new buildings for the Phase 2 of the Hudson Yards. Once again, it's going to be put on by Related Properties, a Related group. It's supposed to include a casino at the Hudson Yards, a public school, hotels, and I think there's going to be another residential portion of that. I don't know. My thoughts on it, I'm not a big fan of gambling, so I think it's going to ruin the Hudson Yards. I know that's a really hot take and a strong take, but look, casinos, generally speaking, and maybe I'm being a little bit biased, from my experience, it kind of breeds not the best type of crowd. I mean, there's been talk about putting casinos in Manhattan for years. They actually wanted to put a casino in Times Square. I think that would be an absolute unmitigated disaster. So I don't know. Do I want a casino to go up in the Hudson Yards? I don't. But if it gets approved, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know if it's approved yet, but I'm actually curious what you guys think. Who here in the audience is for a casino at the Hudson Yards, and who is against the idea of a casino at the Hudson Yards? But Related Group does fantastic work, and they did such a good job on the Hudson Yards, so who knows? C notes says, I agree with you, but if Wynn is chosen, it'll be high-end luxury, and the clientele will generally be the same. It's a good observation. Alan says, I'm in favor for it. I'm active in sports betting. Fair. Patrice 2020 says, I'm not in favor for it. Jigas is against casinos unless it's high scale. Adam says they have casinos in New York. It's called Wall Street. That's actually really funny. Now, there are casinos in New York City, but they're in the boroughs, mostly in Queens. I think Genting has a few casinos near the JFK airport. DM says, hello, Tom and everyone. I'm definitely against the casino that's going to be going up at Hudson Yards. So it looks like we're about split half and half. Let me give you another shot at 270 Park from up here by the Societe Generale. Greg's is against. Yeah, so I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat posting about Mayor Eric Adams being indicted. I have not heard about that. I think that literally just broke right as we started the live broadcast. So that's crazy. So apparently, according to some of our viewers in the chat, the mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, is indicted. Wild. And it's only Wednesday. So it's only Wednesday. This is an awesome shot of the American flag with 432 Park Avenue in the background. Mary says, I wouldn't want to live near it. I don't care how upscale it is. Well, so to Mary's point, that's been a lot of the pushback. I believe one of the buildings is 35 Hudson Yards. It's beautiful luxury condos right at the Hudson Yards, and people who have purchased units in that building are afraid that their valuations are going to go way down because of the resale value, right? If you try to sell your apartment or your condo, and some people, like myself, wouldn't want to live next to a casino. You know, everyone's different. So they're arguing that the values of those condos could potentially go down because nobody wants to live near Steve Roth's casino. Or in this case, he would be the builder and then Wynn would be the operator. So. Anyway. We're now at the Hemsley building. We're going to be making a right here and walking past Grand Central Station. But I kind of wanted to review a few things with all of you. We'll wait until we get through this corridor. But I think there's some big pressing things that we need to be paying attention to in the market. Yeah, Sam, I heard about that too. The NYPD commissioner resigned as well. I don't know the whole story, but it appears, I mean, Mayor Eric Adams used to be in the NYPD. So what are they saying? He just appointed all of his cop buddies to positions of power? Is that kind of what they're talking about? Anyway. So there's a few things that I think are important to cover. If we think back to when we were first starting to cover gold, right, before gold broke out and ran to almost $2,700 an ounce now, we were speculating and talking about just the pattern of the base. Gold has been consolidating for a decade. Gold hit a new all-time record high in 2011, topping out roughly at $1,900 an ounce, give or take, $1,950 an ounce. I don't know the exact print per ounce, but right around there. And from 2011, it's kind of been going down to sideways, and now building out the right side of that base and breaking out near $2,700 an ounce. You started to see the same thing, similar pattern develop with gold and even the S&P 500, which is now broken out as well. I think I may have found the next kind of big move in a major indice that is showing very, very similar signs, kind of what we caught that move in gold, when we caught that move in US equities, and when we caught the move in Bitcoin. And it's Singapore. It's the Singapore stock market. You can look at the ticker symbol for yourself. The ticker is STI. And if you go back and do some review, Singapore never recovered. I'm talking about the equity market. It never recovered from the 2008 financial crisis, ever. It has been trading below the all-time record high of 2007. But as we've been talking about, there is significant shakeup in Asia. And I think Singapore is set to benefit in a major way, specifically off of China's weakness that's going on right now. And I think as China starts to ease monetary conditions, this is the Yale Club, by the way, and as China starts to try to backstop the economy, cut mortgage rates, and even buy stocks outright, that is going to be very positive for global liquidity. And I think a lot of that money is going to find its way into the United States and Singapore. So check this out. Let me try to pull it up on my phone here, if I could, for a moment. Look at this base, okay? What you're looking at right now is a monthly time frame of Singapore, STI. This is the high of 2007, and it's kind of been truncated ever since then. But if we zoom in a little bit more, it looks like Singapore is gonna go and at least test the all-time record high of 07. So this is officially on the watch like a hawk list. And if you break through the all-time record highs on Singapore, that is a green light, a go. Very similar to kind of what we were talking about with gold. Let me go back to the chart of gold, just so we can kind of compare and contrast here. This is the line I drew on stream. Look at this. So this is a monthly chart of gold. Gold tends to trade like this. This is the 1977 top in gold, went dormant for 2 decades, broke out into all-time record highs into 2011, went dormant for a decade, broke out of this handle. It's off to the races. The first target for gold is 3,000. I think this cycle it could get to 5, and you're starting to see the same thing set up in other markets. So everyone, I think we should be putting Singapore on our watch list. These are really textbook kind of cup with handle patterns. And you have not only the technicals, right? We're mostly fundamentals based, but it's most important when the fundamentals cooperate with the technicals, right? As price action is building out on the right side of that base and fundamentals, right? I mean, the fundamental thesis for Singapore, I mean, if you've ever been to Singapore, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Business-friendly environment, right? Law and order. What's happening with the West right now? I mean, I still think the United States is the greatest country in the world, but there are some cons, right? People are getting fed up with the homeless. People are getting fed up, with the drugs and in the crime, not just in major cities, right, but broadly all over the United States. And they're getting fed up with the politics, and that is going to cause some capital flight, not just here in the United States, but other countries are way worse. And I think capital is going to find itself to places like the UAE, Dubai, Singapore. So it's very possible we may have a bull market in Singapore. This is now One Vanderbilt. Hey, Troy Atman, what's up? Thanks for joining us as we walk out in front of Grand Central Station. How many of you are fans of bagpipes in the audience? Fan or not a fan? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Not a big fan. Not a big fan in my opinion. Troy Atman says, how do we invest in Singapore? Well, I can't advise to invest or buy this or that. I'm just saying watch the STI, which is the major equity index in Singapore. And there's a lot of ETFs that you could get exposure to Singapore, but we're starting to see the same thing, right? I think the point is, you know, you got to look for very good technical setups that also cooperate with the fundamentals. This is a great shot of the Chrysler building here. Let's check out Bryant Park. Someone says you can't be Irish and not like bagpipes. I just think generally I just don't like loud, like aggravating music. Matthews, Tom, did you just hear that Eric Adams has just been indicted? Yes, multiple times. It's breaking news here. Thank you for letting us know. But yeah, I think it just broke right as we started the broadcast, which is kind of crazy. I wonder what for. Did they say specifically some sort of corruption scheme? We'll see. Dalt says, what are your thoughts on Citi's sales and trading department? I think it's good. I mean, is that kind of the path you want to take? Is that what you want to do? You want to go into sales and trading? I'd say go for it. I'd say go for it, but try to exit to a hedge fund. I have a lot of friends in sales and trading. I actually have a friend in rates and repo sales at Citi. And I would try to exit, do 2 or 3 years there and then maybe try to find an exit to a hedge fund or something, because sales and trading is not really what it used to be back in the day. Generally speaking, sales and trading's department of big banks are shrinking. It's still a really good opportunity, but I think look for that exit opportunity to, if you love trading and investing, I'd say look for that exit opportunity to a hedge fund. Let's cross to the south of 42nd Street. This is right across the street from the Stephen Schwartzman Building, New York Public Library. Now, speaking of that, didn't Jefferies just report earnings today? I think Jefferies reported a really, really good quarter. And I think the most open and receptive CEO on Wall Street is probably Rich Handler. the CEO of Jefferies, and I think he owns like something crazy like 10% of the company. And Jefferies and a lot of those boutique investment banks are trading near record highs. That's something we recommended, well, not recommended, we advised to watch about 8 months ago, because as we know, the market is kind of looking out 6 months into the future. And when the Federal Reserve hiked interest rates 500 basis points, that really killed two things. It killed the M&A market and it killed the IPO market. So how do major investment banks get paid? They get paid off of fee income, right, from helping one company buy another, or companies merge, the advisory. They get paid from helping other companies go public via IPO or SPAC or something like that. And if there's not a lot of transactions, if there's not a lot of deals getting done, well, there's not a lot of fee income, right? And if there's no IPOs that are coming public on the market, well, banks aren't getting paid. So you kind of had that bear market across the board at the major Wall Street investment banks in 2022 through about halfway through 2023. But then I would say Q3, Q4 of 2023 and all throughout 2024, the share prices of the major investment banks and the boutiques, right, like Houlihan Lokey, Jefferies, Evercore, all trading into 52-week highs and new all-time record highs. Hey, the beautiful Bryant Park. All right, I think the buffering should be gone. I think it may have been a dead zone around Bryant Park. So we should be back now. Brad says, hey Tom, and good evening. Not making this about politics, but what about business? What's your take on Mark Cuban wanting to be head of the SEC? There was a few tweets going back and forth today with Anthony Scaramucci. His firm, I believe, is Skybridge. And both Mark Cuban and Anthony Scaramucci were really, let's just say, really getting on the case of Gary Gensler, who is the current chair of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Now, both of them have a vested interest in kind of getting Gary Gensler out of there, right? Because Anthony Scaramucci is a huge crypto guy, right? He's been in the cryptocurrency space for a long time. Long time. Now, am I going to agree with them that I think we need a replacement for Gary Gensler? Yes. The answer is yes. Now, your question about politics and Mark Cuban, it appears that my political views do not align with Mark Cuban's. Do I think Cuban has bad intentions? I don't. Maybe he just sees things a little bit differently. But hypothetically speaking, if we had to choose between Gary Gensler and Mark Cuban, I would choose Mark Cuban probably. It's just the Securities and Exchange Commission is and has always been very reactionary. Extremely reactionary. Now it's hard to, I don't want to make the whole thing about trashing the SEC because they do good work, but they're not very preventative in my view. And I think their regulatory oversight regarding cryptocurrencies has just really been abysmal, and it's hurt the industry and it's hurt the U.S., I think. Look at how cool this is. MBA Elias says Walmart and Target saw positive comparable sales growth and margin improvement in the second quarter, and so should Costco. Well, we get Costco tomorrow, right, MBA Elias? I think Costco's up on the chopping block tomorrow. Should be a good quarter, I agree. I'm not a shareholder of Costco though, but Ozzy says the SEC is very selective on who they police and who they look the other way on. Generally speaking, I agree for sure. This is an awesome shot of One Vanderbilt. Really, Bryant says our local Walmart has added more cashiers and is now closing off about half of their self-checkout items. So the 10 items or less. Why do you think that is? You think it's because of theft? Do you guys think that the self-checkout is easier for people to steal stuff? Maybe they scan 1 or 2 items, they pay for 1 or 2 items, and they slip every third item in the bag and don't pay for it? Maybe. Which is kind of a bummer, right? Because self-checkout is so convenient. I don't go to drugstores anymore that don't have the self-checkout. That's why I really only go to CVS. I don't go to Duane Reade, because I don't want to interact with any of these people. And I just want to pay for the stuff on my own and get out. So we were kind of talking about, I think the corporate speak is called shrinkage. And in the United States, it's a really big problem with theft, particularly retail theft. That's why if you ever walked into a drugstore, a Target in New York City, or any major city for that matter in the United States, everything is locked away behind glass. Now, is this a problem of governments just not enforcing the law, right? There's no law and order. The audience posted it's cultural, and I think I may agree with that actually. And it's changed my perspective on it when I traveled abroad and when I traveled to Asia. I really think it is a cultural thing. Look, I still think America is the greatest country in the world, but people are less considerate here of other people. That is just a fact, okay? And I've lived in the United States, I've lived in New York my entire life, and when I went to Korea, you can tell people just respect other people's things more, and it's built into the culture. Here, it's like, I'll rip this guy off for $50 just because I don't give a shit about him, right? It's really like that. So, I don't know. But on the flip side, playing devil's advocate here, according to all the crime stats, and I'll just speak for New York City because that's where I'm based, the vast majority of organized retail theft or crime comes from a very, very small selection of people. It's literally like 500 people that are causing all these problems, according to the NYPD. Adam Luke says people's ethics have changed drastically over the past decade. Mark Francis says it's because anything less than $900 isn't a felony. Brad's Brain says you're making a huge generalization though, Tom. Yes, there are folks who are exactly the way you described, but aren't the majority. That's true. They're just a small group of scumbags. That is very true, and it kind of goes to what I said with, playing devil's advocate on the argument. Speaking from New York, the NYPD says most of this retail theft, is happening by literally like 500 people. It's a small, organized group of people that are doing this. So maybe it's a little bit of a mix of both. I don't know. But all I know, right, and maybe I'm being a little bit pretentious and catty when I say it, it's an inconvenience to shop at Target. It's an inconvenience to shop at a drugstore in New York City. It is. It just is. Everything is locked behind glass. You got to press the little customer service button. You got to have the guy come over and unlock it. Many of you may be saying, oh, well, suck it up. That's first world problems. And maybe you're right. But when you travel abroad and it's not like that, you're like, wow, why is it like that here? So maybe it's a little bit of a mix of both. Maybe it's a mix of, not being hard on crime, but maybe it's also a cultural thing. Who knows? Adam Luke says, what's worse, the organized theft or a massive high number of individuals? Well, I would rather have a small subsegment of organized crime, because then that's something you could deal with. It's very difficult to deal with thousands and thousands and thousands of individual, derelicts. Let's see who else we got. Brad says, if the NYPD knows the group of people, why can't they do anything about it? Similar to what I think Mark Francis put in the chat, if you steal anything, and I think it's less than a $900 value, I think that's actually too high. I think it's a $500 value. I don't know. I'm not too well read up on it. Essentially just catch and release, right? So even if you call the police on someone who's shoplifting, and the police just book them, they're in and out. It's just like a revolving door, to use the terminology from the NYPD, right? This isn't my words, this is the NYPD's words. So they'll come, right? They'll do what they can do. They'll put handcuffs on you and throw you in the back of the bus, so to speak. They book you at the police station, and then you're just in and out. Just catch and release. Now, you don't really hear of retail shrinkage that much at places like Costco or BJ's, where you need a membership. And it's like almost like the perfect business model, right? The membership provides you almost like a steady stream of reoccurring revenue, almost like a SaaS structure, like software as a service structure, while being a barrier to theft. Because they do not let you in the store if you don't have the membership, right? Anyone could walk into a Target, anyone could walk into, a CVS or a Rite Aid, right? But nobody could just walk into a Costco. They have the guy or the girl at the door checking to see if you have the membership. So it's almost like an automatic preventative measure. Very interesting. Wow, NBA Elias says, Tom, at Costco, they are now scanning Costco cards with ID to prevent card sharing. So that's really going to bring theft to zero at kind of those stores. This is now Times Square. If you guys are enjoying the live stream so far tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. John's people definitely steal. I worked there for a while, and there are 0 cameras, so it's always bound to ultimately happen. Are you talking about Costco? You said you worked at Costco? How was your experience working at Costco, by the way? I hear they pay very well. Well above industry standard, I hear. John says, yes, sir, Costco. It was a great job, amazing benefits, and everyone took pride in their job. It was wonderful. Wow. So that begs the question, though, John. Why did you leave? If it was great pay, because that's what I read, too. They even mentioned that on the corporate earnings report. So, like, look, our employee retention is well above industry standard. If you compare it to Walmart, if you compare it to a lot of the, smaller grocery stores, if you compare it to Target, they have very high employee churn, and Costco has extremely high employee retention. So I guess it turns out if you pay people a living wage, they tend to be happy and stay working for your company. We're now headed over towards the Port Authority bus terminal. All right, let me catch up on some of the comments. Hey, Latha, good to see you. Joel PM says Costco should just buy Walgreens and turn it into Costco Express. Now, Joel PM, I don't know if you're joking or not, but to me, that actually sounds like a fantastic idea. Walgreens is probably going to go out of business, not joking around. Look at the stock price of Walgreens right now. I think it's a single-digit penny stock. If I had internet on my other phone, I would kind of pull it up. But I believe Walgreens Boost Alliance is a single-digit penny stock right now. That may actually be feasible. But like, what are you buying though? That's the thing. Like with Intel, there's tons and tons of people behind the scenes that are trying to make a bid for Intel right now because the stock has been getting absolutely freaking clocked. But they have intellectual property. They have patents, they have things of value. What does Walgreens have that, what are you buying essentially? Do you know what I mean? You're not really buying anything. Okay, you're buying some, they just sell little trinkets like everyone else. Interesting. Speaking of Target, here we have ticker symbol TGT right here. Looks like they're getting a fresh shipment of goods and services. John says, Tom, I got lucky and was offered a nice IT job, which was my hobby while working there. I always joke that I'm going to go back there when I get laid off from this job, so there's no stress. I mean, it's a good safety net, right? But congrats on the IT job. That's awesome. Peter says if Sears and Kmart is gone, old guard stores like Walgreens is primed to fade away as well. That's a very good point. There's a really good case study that many people study in business school. Anybody remember the company Circuit City? Who here is old enough to remember Circuit City? Now, the reason why I bring that up is because Circuit City is no longer a thing anymore, but Best Buy is. And they essentially had very similar businesses, electronic stores. The reason why Best Buy is still around is because they doubled down, if not tripled down, on the internet, e-commerce. And Best Buy kills it with e-commerce. down at the corner of 8th Avenue and 42nd Street. But it's interesting, right? You know, Joel PM makes the joke, you know, Costco should buy Walgreens. I know it was just a joke, but you're not really, like, what are you buying there, right? Yeah, it's a penny stock. Yeah, they could probably buy it for nothing, but you're not buying anything. You know, at least all these people trying to make an offer for Intel, maybe there's something salvageable. Brad's is okay, but setting limits at hundreds of dollars is unacceptable. For a soda, you bust them, bring them into the office, scare them, record it, and start the documentation then. I agree, but I think the problem is if you have those laws in place, it's just an overwhelming amount of instances to do that. And on the flip side, I was actually reading some crazy stories where workers at a San Francisco CVS tried to prevent some guy from coming in there with essentially an entire garbage bag and throwing all the stuff into a garbage bag, stealing the whole place. Turns out, as the employee was trying to prevent the theft, the scumbag guy that was trying to steal all the stuff, you know, pushes the employee falls back, sprains his ankle, and sues CVS. And I think they got a hefty settlement. I think they got like a seven-figure settlement. So since then, many of these companies in the handbook, in the employee handbook, they tell you not to intervene. They tell you just let the people steal everything. And essentially that absolves the company from all liability. Because if you do try to step in and stop someone from stealing, they will fire you and you will get in trouble to save them and protect them from the liability. And this actually happened at Best Buy, by the way. I think there was a Best Buy employee. She was a female employee. She was very heavy built and heavy set. I think she was like a bodybuilder. This guy was trying to walk out with the TV at the Best Buy, and she tackles the guy, and it made national news. Turns out she gets fired the day after because of the exact policy I just explained. You're not allowed to intervene. And I think Dana White, the CEO and founder of the UFC, Ultimate Fighting Championship, I think hired her because it was just so ridiculous that she lost her job, and hired her for like a security thing. So look, I don't know the answer to fix it, but it definitely is a problem. I mean, the CEO of Rite Aid at the time, this was about this time last year, spoke about the immense retail shrinkage on the corporate earnings report. So it's not like this is just make-believe and this is just a talking point. They're actually talking about this in corporate earnings events. So. What is this? This looks like a halal coffee house. That's intriguing. I may actually try this. Hey, what's up, Data Discovery? This just sounds like a nice side hustle. Slip and fall, earn the extra money. Thanks for the idea. No problem. Just make sure you cut me in on the check. Give me a second. Now, shadow stock. Earlier in the broadcast, we were kind of discussing, obviously, 6 months ago, before gold broke out, we were watching that major cup with handle pattern emerge before gold broke over 2,000, now at 2,700 pretty much. 6 months ago, we were looking at the right side of the base build out on Bitcoin. Obviously, the fundamentals cooperating with the technicals, and now we think we've identified maybe a third kind of massive multi-decade cup with handle pattern corroborated by the fundamentals. And I think it's Singapore. If you look at the STI, massive cup with handle, Singapore never recovered from the 2007-2008 financial crisis, and it's looking like it's making for a run at new all-time record highs. There was a really good tweet about this. I forget the analyst who posted this on X. I think I retweeted it, but it does. It looks like it's ready to go. I think that it'll test new all-time record highs for Singapore, and maybe that could be the next major multi-decade breakout. Data Discovery says, I keep a few gold coins in a safety deposit box for years. Bring them down to the Diamond District. We'll have to shop it around. NBA Elias says, the Costco buying Walgreens or CVS idea is an awesome idea. Not sure it would interfere with Costco's buy in bulk model. I don't know. I just don't know what they would be buying exactly. Like, would you argue they're buying the customer base? I don't think anybody is like loyal to CVS or Walgreens. I think the real competitor is Amazon, is going to cannibalize all of this stuff. But I don't know. It's the companies who innovate and actually spend R&D dollars on being an internet first, e-commerce first company, I think we'll do really well.
With the one I ended up
obviously, but let's go to Hell's Kitchen. Let's see what's going on over there. Look at these three holdouts. It's crazy seeing it, right? Because the backdrop is just modern New York City skyscrapers. I know these are luxury condos, but I don't know who would want to live right here on 8th and 46. You'd have to be crazy to want to live here. It's just too close to all the action, I think. Shaky Eyes Smoke Shop. You guys want to make a little detour? And head to old Shaky Eyes. Why were you late to the office today? I had to make a little pit stop at Shaky Eyes Smoke Shop. Troy Atman says, Tom, how do I get AI to do day trading for me? Is it possible? For sure, yeah. I mean, I would start playing around with ChatGPT and start writing some Python scripts. I used to make little trading bots in TradeStation. I never made any money. I would make, the account would balloon to like $60,000, and then I would lose it all, and then it would balloon to like back to $10,000, and then it'd go down to like $500, and I would just let it automate. But I'm not a computer scientist, I'm not a programmer, but you can absolutely make trading bots and write code if you're familiar with like TradeStation and all that. Or you could just ask Ken Griffin, our good buddies over at Citadel. is a nice outdoor dining setup here. Oh, it's officially fall when I break out the Brooks Brothers jacket, so this will be on from here on out. I made the executive decision today. Doesn't matter if it's going to be cold in the morning, it's going to be hot as hell in the afternoon, so we'll have to take the jacket off, and then at night it's going to get cold again. It's that time of year officially. Brad's Brain says, hey Tom, what are we going to get the collection going for the bench in Central Park? So I looked into it, it's going to cost about $10,000. Here's the thing, when I spoke to the people at the Central Park conservatory place, they give you a map where the available bench spots are, and they're not prime real estate. I'm telling you, they're not prime locations for Central Park benches. I want something close to Central Park South. All the stuff that's available to buy is in the 90s and up by Cathedral Parkway, Central Park North. I want Central Park South benches if I'm going to pay 10 grand. But I still want to do it. I really do want to do it. I think it'd be cool. But I want them, I'm just like, put it, can I just tell you where to put it? They're like, no, if you ever walk in Central Park, this is the way it was explained to me by the guy. They say if you take a walk at Central Park, every bench has a plaque. Some of the plaques are vacant, right, empty. Those are the ones that you could buy and sponsor a bench. Data Discovery says, do you have any thoughts on when and if the, on when and if the Malignant 7 drops in price? I read that as Magnificent 7. Hey, speaking of the Upper West Side, you have Maya here. What's going on? I was just in your neck of the woods 2 days ago. This is Becco. It's one of my favorite spots. Any deadheads in the chat?
Here's 100%.
So we were talking about music, like on Halloween out before.
Steve CR says, check my wallet. I don't have a wallet. See, I can't get pickpocketed because I don't have anything. I'm 100% digital. Oof. Almost fell in the sewer drain there. I would have had to call Data Discovery to come down and get me out. Hey, what's up, Retired in Florida? Says, greetings, Tom, and thanks. Just lost my key IT guy to Citadel as a quantitative trader. His new salary is $215,000, which I couldn't match. I'll definitely miss him. Damn. Yeah, I mean, Ken Griffin definitely has a big pocketbook. Now, is that 215 salary? Was that in Florida? So is he going to be working in Miami? I feel as if maybe, I mean, that's solid for Miami, or that's solid for Florida. That's solid for anywhere. 215K as a quantitative researcher. And then your OTE is probably what, in the fours, maybe low fours? That's solid. Yeah, Paul says, Tom, did you see Eric Adams was indicted? I didn't see it personally, but many people have been putting into the chat. That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, maybe this will be a positive omen. Maybe we'll have a complete 180 turnaround in the city. Who knows? I like the vibe inside this bar. Low lighting, brick wall. Now, speaking about lighting, you guys want to talk about something crazy? I forget where I heard this, but I was listening to a podcast a few days ago, and this guy, he said, I was in the restaurant business, and he's like, you know what the number one deciding factor on if the restaurant is going to do good or not? It's the lighting. Apparently, it's the lighting. So if the restaurant has really horrible lighting, but it has the best food, it probably will still not do well. But if you have a restaurant that has mediocre food, but the lighting is fantastic, that restaurant will probably do way better and outperform. And they did a lot of studies on this. This guy was talking about on the podcast, and it really has to also do with dating, because depending on where you sit, if it's low lighting, it makes your date look better, and if your date looks better, you tend to stay longer at the restaurant, and you tend to spend more money. I don't know if this is like, non-data, BS data, or real, but this guy owned quite a few restaurants, and that's kind of what the main takeaway was. This guy's having a little bit of a hard time. Professor Dario says it makes sense. Yes, Brad, I generally tend to agree with that. Every Italian restaurant should play some sort of a rotation of Frank, Dean Martin, Rat Pack in general. Look at Central Park Tower tonight. Looks like one big bat signal, right? Left-handed says that's a good takeaway. Appreciate you sharing it. I'm just trying to figure out where I heard it from. It was some podcast. I just can't remember. I'm having like a brain fog. I remember where it was from. It was from Coffee with Scott Adams. It's a daily morning live stream. It's not really a podcast. It's like a live stream, and he reads the news. I tune in sometimes. If I'm at the office, I'll turn it on. But he was telling that story about how lighting is so important. Now, Scott Adams is the Dilbert. He's the creator of Dilbert, that comic strip. But a lot of people don't know that a lot of the money that he made from Dilbert, he invested into restaurants all across California. And many of them did really, really well and are still doing good, and many of them went bankrupt and didn't do so good. So I guess that was sort of the context there. Now, speaking of Ken Griffin and Citadel, at the very top of this tower, that's 220 Central Park South. Ken Griffin has a really nice duplex. I think he actually may own 3 specific floors. Look at this wheelie. Uber Eats guy on the wheelie. I think Ken Griffin may have 3 floors, combined floors at 220 Central Park South. It's an incredible building. Incredible. Alan says the Acquired podcast. Howard Schultz was on recently. Really good interview. And I know you're a Schultz guy. I'm a huge Howard Schultz guy. I love Howard Schultz. Huge fan of Howard Schultz. Alan, that's not the first time you recommended that podcast to me. Let me take a screenshot. The Acquired podcast. Thank you for that recommendation, by the way. Data Discovery says Scott Adams has great content published daily on his podcast. I think you may have recommended that podcast to me, I think that's the only reason why I know about it. Or maybe it was you or someone else on Twitter. I think it was you. All right, let's rate the lighting of this Italian place. Good lighting or bad lighting? I think it's a little bit too exposed to the street. One of the main reasons why I like Becco is because the bar is kind of on the lower level and it's hidden away. I feel like you're a little bit too exposed inside, but lighting is okay. I believe I've mentioned this before because many people ask and want me to talk about like what's my favorite steakhouse in the city. And I believe I've said multiple times that Del Frisco's is my favorite steakhouse in the city, but not because it has the best steak. I'd rather pay more money for a slightly lower quality steak, but the environment is just so fun. I mean, you're right outside of Radio City Music Hall. If you ever travel to New York City and you're looking for like a really fun place to eat, go to the Del Frisco's right across the street from 30 Rockefeller Center. That is a fun time. You could sit at the bar, but if you're with the party, if you're like with the party like 5 people or more, try to sit on the upper level. That's an awesome restaurant. It's an awesome spot. And I think their rent is like $70,000 a month. Jigga says Delmonico's has the best steak in the city. That's down, well, they reopened again, right? That's down by close to Wall Street in Lower Manhattan. Funky Child says, I think 212 Steakhouse has the best steak in New York City, Kobe beef, one of only 9 in the US that sell it. Really? I never even heard of that steakhouse. Let me take a screenshot of that. Solo Flyer says Keen's is top notch. Keen's is very good. That's on the east side of Manhattan, right? Close-ish to, wait, where is Keen's? Am I confusing my steakhouses? No, Keen's is it's either in Midtown just north of Times Square, right? I forget. I may be confusing 2 of them. I'm thinking of Sparks Steakhouse. Sparks is the one by Grand Central Terminal, right? Yes, you're right, Solo Flyer. Keen's is off of 6th. You're correct. I was incorrect about that. I was confusing Sparks. And Sparks Steakhouse is where that big mob hit happened, right? Where they came in and killed all those people. Raj says, is President Biden gone from New York City? Well, according to some of the members in the chat, Air Force One took off from JFK at 9 p.m. today. So yes, President Biden is gone. I mean, look at the contrast here, everyone, from old New York. This is what all of Hell's Kitchen used to look like. Low-rise, pre-war. This area actually used to be quite dangerous back in the day. It's very nice now. And this is the new New York. I mean, what a contrast. Crazy looking at it, right? I mean, Deutsche Bank Towers, I think it's the Hearst building. 220 Central Park South, Central Park Tower, and then you got to kind of get a glimpse of what the old New York used to really be. Shrek says, what do you estimate rent for one of those rooms? In Hell's Kitchen, if you want to rent a room, maybe $1,700. $1,500, $1,700. I think you could find like a really ratty, grotesque room, but you'll be very close to everything. So maybe one room in a 3-bedroom apartment, $1,500, $1,700 around that area, I'd say, which is not bad. I mean, look, if you're just moving to the city, or if you are, a recent college graduate, you don't need a luxury place You could ruck it out. Sleep with the roaches, sleep with the rats, get comfortable, and work hard, stock some money away, and it'll force you to be out of your apartment, right? You can, you just have to reframe it. You could say, it sucks. I live in a place filled with roaches and filled with rats. I hate it. Or you could do a reframe and say, no, I love living in a place with tons of roaches and tons of rats because it forces me to be outside in the city at work, making big moves, making some money, so I could save my money to get a better place. Obviously, I'm like half joking, but it's not the end of the world to live with a few roaches, in your 20s. I like the facade of this little pizza shop here. We're on the corner of West 53rd Street. This is a very interesting development. You have a new dev kind of cantilevering over these two other holdouts. Timothy's couch surf and banquet. Look at how crazy this is. Hey, Dr. Longas, long time no see. Hopefully you're doing well. Welcome back to New York and welcome back to Hell's Kitchen. Shrix, this is Hell's Kitchen, an area of New York City, or is it a restaurant? This is the neighborhood we are walking through right now. It is a fun neighborhood to go and visit. I would say not to live. So I would say thumbs down for living, thumbs up for visiting, maybe going out, trying the different restaurants. It's very fun. There's a lot of people out. It's cool. I like it. Look at that.
That's true. I get at Hell's Kitchen Westfield on a Wednesday night.
This is Central Park Tower, and that is 157. This really looks like a shot out of Batman movie. It's like Gotham City. Hey, sunshine after rain, what's going on? I feel like we got the whole original crew here tonight. We got Sunshine After Rain, Melissa 2087, Dr. Longas, everyone is here. Oh, Bev Vance is West 53rd Street. My brother lives on West 54th in Hell's Kitchen. Very nice. Well, that's where we are right now. We're right on West 54th Street. It's a nice block. Nice tree-covered block. I mean, what time is it right now? Maybe about 10:30, and the bars seem to be packed. Really great nightlife. For a Wednesday, pretty cool. Got some nice flowers here. Nothing to complain about. Certainly no complaints on my behalf. Hey, Leanne. Hello from Midtown. Good to see you. If anyone is in Midtown East, go check out Leanne's store. She owns this really, really cool gift shop called Chase the Fox. Feel free to put a link to it, but it's a cool spot. We've been past it many times. So if you're visiting New York City, it's a very unique gift shop. It's in a really nice part of town, close to my office, called Chase the Fox. Here you could see the Steinway Tower, also known as the Stairway to Heaven building. One of my favorite diners of all time in New York is coming up. A lot of times after we do the broadcast, I go to this diner right here. It's called The Flame. And it's one of the only original diners left, I would say, right on the border of Hell's Kitchen. So I always try to go as much as I can and support, because if they close down, it'd be, oh my God, it'd be a big, big death blow to the neighborhood. I've been going there forever. Again, it doesn't have the best food, but it's just a nice experience. Getting a cup of coffee at like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning at The Flame, getting some work done, you know, reading a few articles in the paper, just hanging out. I'll show it to you guys. It's a good place. This market is brand new. This used to be all dilapidated and run-down bar right here. And now it looks to be a pretty nice bodega, grocery store. A lot of this stuff has changed since I've been in the neighborhood. Yeah, this is how that place used to look. Used to look exactly like this. Kind of all blown out. Over time, I'm sure someone will move in and make it look better. Hey, two-wheel freedoms. Does it feel like fall out there? It does. I officially changed into my fall jacket. Oh, is that right? Eli says it used to be a great bar with the Fordham crowd. Ah, that's true, because Fordham University is right up here. I went to college right here as well. I wasn't smart enough to get into Fordham. I went to a public school, CUNY school, John Jay College of Criminal Justice. Justino's Pizza is not the best. Hey, Clarence, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Says, hey Tom, did you hear about Mayor Adams being indicted? I did. We did. Now, I didn't hear about it because I just started the live stream, but we had many people in the audience telling us about it. It's crazy. I'm not too sure what's going on. I don't know if anyone really knows what's going on, but something not good is going on. I can tell you that right now. But maybe this is me being an irrational optimist. Maybe this is the turning point of the greatest thing that's ever going to happen to this city. Maybe we'll get an all-new administration, all-new NYPD. Maybe we're going to do a complete 180. We're going to get someone who is extremely, extremely hard on crime and clean everything up. It's possible. So maybe this is positive for the city. I just don't know what are they exactly indicting him with. This is a good place called Burrito Box. This place is solid. Now I'm assuming that means he's not going to be mayor anymore, right? But if you're looking for great Mexican food, go to this place, Burrito Box, West 58th Street. It's such a good spot, and it's mom and pop owned, so support the local guys. This is my spot. This is my spot right here, the Flame, the good old Flame Diner. This is New York City right here, friends. This is it. Great spot. All those, classic diner booths, really good. They also have the wraparound bar. This is where I sit. I sit right here, right at the bar stools. Let's see if we can see it from the other side. And it's open 24 hours a day. So sometimes I come in here 1, 2 in the morning. That's my guy right there. I won't blow up his spot, but he's probably getting harassed by someone. But family-owned place, really, really good people in there. I always try to go, oh, that was almost a big...
Red fucking white.
Damn, he almost took that guy's head off. Oh, Maron. Poor guy. Jeez. So you always got to watch yourself crossing these streets. I believe I've told you guys about the food delivery bicycle guys causing head-on collisions multiple times. This year I've seen, oh my God, and I'm not exaggerating by the way, probably double digits now in terms of high-speed head-on collision food delivery bike guys. And it's going to sound harsh what I'm going to say, but it's true. I mean, I've witnessed this. We just almost witnessed it right there. They go the wrong way. They don't understand how to operate with the bike lanes. So you have heavy traffic with bikes headed northbound in the bike lane, and then you have 1 or 2 food delivery guys coming right at you, and it's just like bowling pins and blows everyone up. It's crazy. It's crazy. You got to be really careful. That's why I don't skateboard in the city anymore. That's why I don't ride bikes in the city anymore. Between the pickup and vehicle traffic and just the explosion in food delivery bike guys, it's just too dangerous to bike in the city, in my opinion. Here, I'm going to show you Deutsche Bank. So for those of you who don't know, Deutsche is a German investment bank. Their main New York City headquarters used to be 60 Wall Street. They've since left Wall Street. They were the only standing investment bank left on the physical street of Wall, and they migrated and took over the Time Warner Center, and they remodeled the office and made it absolutely beautiful. They did a great job. And this is a much better location for Deutsche Bank because not only are they in a more modern building right next to the train, but you're also next to very high profile clients right here on Billionaire's Row, and you're just a stone's throw away from Park Avenue where the vast majority of the other bulge bracket big banks are. So you kind of got to be where the business is. So I think this was a great real estate move by Deutsche Bank to come right here to 1 Columbus Circle. I used to live right here, right above this Broad Bagels place, but it didn't always used to be a bagel spot. It used to be a Subway, and this used to be a very, very rundown and dilapidated building. I used to live on the 3rd floor. It was a 4-bedroom apartment, and they were my brother's friends from college, and they let me live in the walk-in closet. So it was literally like a walk-in closet. There was no lock on it. It was like a double-doored. I just rolled out the little yoga mat, went to sleep, and then I just walked right here to class because I didn't want to commute for 2 hours to Long Island. My college is right here, John Jay. This was a really good time, living right here in this building. I'm surprised nobody has bought this building and built some sort of megatall skyscraper. I don't know if the air rights permit. But this is a great spot. I mean, talk about prime location. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe there was something with the Related group when Related built the Time Warner Center. Maybe they bought air rights from the surrounding buildings. I'm not too sure, but I feel like someone should take this building out and build something new. But there's always a reason why they don't. Maybe that's the reason. You never know.
Because I don't know the man.
Jim says the Flame Diner is expensive. It's gotten more expensive. It's crazy because, you used to be able to go to a diner in Manhattan, get a few pancakes, get a cup of coffee, a few eggs, sit down, have a good time for like $10 or $15. It seems like you can't go into a diner anymore in New York without walking out with like a $45 to $50 bill. It's crazy. It's really, really crazy. Anyway, if you guys are enjoying the live stream tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. For those of you who are just joining, we talked a lot about Singapore tonight. So the STI index in Singapore looks to be breaking out, or at least trying to test new all-time record highs not tested since the 07-08 financial crisis. So we're going to be watching Singapore. This used to be First Republic. Obviously now it is a JP Morgan Chase private client office. It looks really nice in here. Next week, I'm going to be doing a deep dive into Singapore and our bull thesis, or my bull thesis, for Singaporean equities. If you would like to read that, we send out our investor letter every other Thursday right as the market is closing. So if you scan the QR code on your screen, punch in your email, it'll take you to our Substack called Behind the Street. It's completely free. It's a great way to support the stream. And we write about all things markets that we discuss here live every night at 8:45. So go ahead and check it out, scan the QR code, and punch in your email. And we're going to make one quick lap around Columbus Circle. As we overlook Billionaire's Row. Clarence Jackson says, do you think Tesla, Nvidia, and Bitcoin will hit all-time highs? Well, I've said that I believe Tesla bottomed in April. I think Tesla put in a bottom in April. Nvidia's in kind of no man's land, and I think that has to cool off a bit. I mean, that was your TML of this bull cycle. And what was the other one? Bitcoin? For sure. Bitcoin is like, what, $4,000 away from a new high. We're carving out, the right side of a handle. Bitcoin is in a handle now. The question is, does it break out or break down? But I am a Bitcoin bull and a gold bull. Reggie44 says, should I sell stocks on election day? There's a lot of people who think that, right? There's a lot of people who are very freaked out about the upcoming election. And they think that, if Trump gets elected, it's going to be a dictatorship, so we should sell all of our stocks. And then on the other hand, they think if Kamala gets elected, the US is going to turn into a communist regime, and we should sell all of our stocks. Is that going to create volatility around election day? I think so, and I think you should buy that, because that is all short-term noise, in my view. Now, I don't advise anyone to do anything. We just kind of share our opinions here. But there are a lot of people who are genuinely freaked out about this election, as they are every single election. And they make brash, short-term decisions, right? Time really tends to fade everything into the abyss, right? I mean, just go back and do an audit of the most recent elections we've been through and the most recent like major events, political events we've gone through. I mean, who remembers all of the George Floyd protests when they were burning down all the cities? You know, they burn things down for a few months and then it kind of fades and everyone forgets about it and then it's on to the next thing, right? Everyone was freaking out when Trump won the election. I even had people in my college class that were physically crying. There were teachers crying, fearful for their lives. I'm serious about that. And then, you know, life goes on, everything fades away, everyone forgets about it. It's like that with every major event, okay? Some events take longer to kind of heal than others. I mean, think about COVID, right? The government got everyone to wear masks that turned out to not work, and now everyone is back to normal again. And then it kind of fades away, fades into the abyss, and everyone forgets about it. It's going to be the same thing with the election. It's short-term anxiety that forced people to do make brash decisions about their investments. And that creates mispricing, that creates volatility, and that's a way for us to capitalize. That is my view. I'm not saying it's going to pan out 100%, but that is my view of what I think is going to happen. I mean, who remembers? I mean, I was still very, very young when President Barack Obama was elected. So I kind of don't remember it like super well, but I do remember it. And I remember there were, this is 15 Central Park West, by the way, beautiful building. I remember there were movies being made about Barack Obama and how that once he's elected, the United States is going to, you know, crash and burn and crumble. I think the person who made that movie was Dinesh D'Souza or something. I forget his name, but he made a whole documentary series about, you know, warning if Obama becomes president, you know, the world's going to end. It's going to be the end of the United States, and the U.S. is still here. And it's not to try to get political and turbocharge everyone. I actually tend to lean more on the conservative side of the aisle, but people on both sides want to sell fear. They want to sell a narrative to try to control the populace. So if you can just take a deep breath, right, rationalize things and say, okay, both sides of the extreme are wrong. It's probably going to fall somewhere in the middle is where the truth is going to lie. Nothing is ever as bad as it seems, and nothing is ever as good as it seems. And in my experience, this is really what happens in not just the investing business, but in my personal life as well. Every time I think that there's some cataclysmic thing at work, I'm like, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to get my way out of this. This is going to be the most cataclysmic thing. You know, 2 years, 3 years go by, and then I look back on that moment, and I'm like, why was I even worried about that? Right? It's not that big of a deal. So, again, I'm not a financial advisor, but would I panic sell my stocks if, you know, my preferred presidential candidate didn't get elected? No, I would not do that. Emma says, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? I am better off now than I was 4 years ago, yes. Now, I'm not saying everyone is better off than they were 4 years ago. There's some people that aren't, and, you know, I agree. Again, I tend to lean more on the conservative side, so I definitely will not be voting for Kamala Harris. But the overarching theme that I'm trying to make is don't believe the doomsday scenarios, right? One side is going to sell you a doomsday scenario. The other side is going to sell you a doomsday scenario. You know, the truth is usually somewhere in the middle. This is now Central Park South. Town now says, Tom, I believe you're a product of a Trump economy, question mark. What you think, you wrote it to the present. You must be very smart to navigate the situation. I don't attribute any of my, and I wouldn't say I'm a successful guy. I think you guys are giving me too much credit. But I don't think, I believe in the United States, it's very much geared towards your individual choices. I wouldn't say that I'm successful because of Obama, Trump, Harris, Biden, or any of them. If you do the work, you're going to be successful here, right? And the government's not going to help you one way or the other. You know, Trump's not going to help you. Biden's not going to help you. You got to do it yourself. That's honestly how I feel. Now, would I prefer one candidate over the other? Yes, of course. But again, the overarching theme that I'm trying to hammer home is some people really, really take it like, and I mean, I've seen this firsthand in college, you know, during the election cycle when Trump won. I mean, some of these my professors were crying. I'm like, you guys are nuts. You guys are actually you have a mental disability. I'm not trying to say that to be mean. But like, if you're doing that in front of your students, like, there's something wrong with you. Like, the world's going to keep churning. Everything is going to be fine. I guess maybe, you know, being in a big liberal city like New York, most educators have their fair share of TDS. But it's the same thing on the right. You know, they think that the United States is going to turn into some sort of communist regime if you have, you know, Kamala Harris being elected. Let me tell you something. Kamala has been in charge for the last 4 years. Okay, we had a Biden-Harris presidential, duo the last 4 years. Now, are there problems with the country? Yeah. You could talk about the open borders and all this, and yeah, it's terrible, and I hope that stops too. But it didn't bring an end to the U.S. as we know it, as what, you know, some people have predicted. It just wasn't the case. So just try to block out the noise. Try not to get consumed with it. And at times I think I should try to take my own advice, right? There's times where I get caught up in the propaganda machine, where I see something on Twitter, or I see something on X, and I get enraged. And then I think back on it 2 hours later, and I'm like, they got me. They wanted me to have that reaction. They wanted me to, you know, go back and forth with some random person I don't know on the internet. Because that's what they want. They want us at each other's throats. Mikey G's is voting for the prosecutor, not the felon. That's good. Everyone can vote for whoever they want to vote for. I wish we could go back to a time in the country where, like, if you told someone in passing who you were voting for, they didn't, like, demonize you and think you're, like, a subhuman. Like, hey, if you're voting for Trump, if you're a Trumper, good. If you're voting for Kamala Harris, good. You can vote for whoever you want for. You can vote for Flavor Flav if you want. You can vote for me if you want. You can write my name in, I guess. How many votes do you think I could realistically get if I campaign starting now? How many write-in ballots do you think Tom from Walks in Wall Street could get? At least 10? I think I could pull at least 10. If I really, like, hammered on it every night here.
write me in, write my name in. I think I could pull 10. I think I could pull 10 write-in ballots. Someone says 69 votes. Yeah. Hilarious. Hilarious. Damn, New England crypto. You think I could pull 7,000 votes? Crazy. I definitely will not be running for political office ever, by the way, so no worries. Clarence Jackson says, "Do I remember the rent is too damn high?" Candidate, I do. Maybe I'll write his name in. Oh, I can't vote. I forgot. I actually can't vote. Anyway, not to hammer on the issue ad nauseum, but look, there's going to be a big push. I mean, the election is in less than a month, right? It's going to be in November. There's going to be a big push of propaganda. Maybe we could use this to our advantage to gain an edge over the competition, to say, look, everyone knows who they're voting for, okay? Nobody's going to be persuaded. That's nonsense. Nobody is in the middle saying, oh, I'm really indecisive about Trump and Kamala. No, you're not. You're going to, vote for whoever you want to vote for, and that's it. So I think we should all just go to work, wake up every day, do what we got to do, and not bicker about it, because whatever happens, happens. And that's how I think. Let's see what's going on over here at 50 Central Park South. It looks like there's still some diplomats. I was watching that guy on the scooter. I don't trust the bike guys or the scooter guys anymore. BLT Prods is Mark Cuban supports Kamala and thinks people should pay more taxes. Well, he could write a check. I mean, Cuban's got more money than God. You know that's true, right? You don't have to. You can write a check to the IRS. They'll take your money. You can overpay and pay more in taxes. You could write a check. I don't know. I like Mark. I think he's a really smart guy, obviously. I like him a lot. I think there's more of a bigger motive behind his recent actions. I know this isn't a political show. Maybe we'll kind of talk about it a little bit more on our second channel. But I think Mark's going to make a bid for something in the next 4 years. I don't know if it's a presidential bid, but I think he's going to go for it. And hey, more power to him. I think that's why he's kind of cozying up to that side of the aisle, because he'll probably run under that ticket. It's quite possible we've entered the era where from here on out, presidents of the United States will no longer be from that kind of cut cloth, in the family pedigree anymore, like the Bushes, the Kennedys. It'll be like these one-offs like Trumps, like Cubans. So you never know. Mark Cuban could be our president in 8 years. That's probably what he's gearing up for a run. Alan, so it didn't launch yet. It's going to launch soon, but I think I'm going to do a few live streams on it first, because I have to hit a certain amount of watch time before I can turn on the whatever you call it. But it's going to be on our next newsletter. Clarence Jackson is maybe a presidential advisor, for sure. Man, every time I walk past the plaza, the residences here, it's just such a beautiful building. It's like, damn. If only I could have a place there.
This pattern of feeling like if I show my full light,
This is Grand Army Plaza. I know, everything in Miami, we were just talking about that. Tampa, Florida is about to get a Category 4 hurricane. Now, everything in Miami, it seems as if, and hopefully I don't jinx ourselves, most of the hurricanes used to pound Miami. It seems like most of the hurricanes now are coming to the west coast of Florida. I don't know why that is. Maybe just a change in the jet stream or something, but I mean, they've been getting, just to your point, hammered. What was that big hurricane that hit like 2 years ago? I think that was Fort Myers it hit. This is looking down Fifth Avenue. I think you're right, Hurricane Ian. I believe you're correct.
I got you. Oh my god, that was hilarious.
Anon, so some of our mods are rogue. I think it actually may be my Nightbot that may be a little bit too rogue. I have to readjust it, but because it is annoying, because there's a few people that get banned and then I have to go in on the back end and unban them. I think it's the Nightbot. That's just a piece of software. This is the Apple Cube, Apple AI. Now this looks super futuristic. How cool does this look? Hey, Life, Liberty, and Guns, what's up? Good to see you. Someone says we should go in. You want to try to go in? We went in one time and they kicked us out. I tried to cover the Apple Vision Pro and they did not like me going in there with the camera. It looks like Transformers. Rudy says, did I hear that scientists are going to get more leeway to experiment on the weather? I did not hear that. Let's try to go in the Apple Store. What do you guys think? You want to go in or not go in? Who Dat Dave says Nightbot allowed both of my comments for opposing candidates. Yeah, I think there's some keywords that I blocked, like anything involving like death or shot or hit, it will automatically block. It's not a big deal. If your comment gets blocked, it's going to be fine. Everything's fine. No hard feelings. I'll go ahead and go in on the back end and unblock it. It's just, we have to have the Nightbot because sometimes we have these troll farms that come, like these bot farms. They'll come in like thousands of people and put like derogatory stuff in the chat. It's just, we can't have any of that because YouTube will ban us. We will get banned. Even though it's not me saying it, YouTube will give us a strike. Wow, here we have it. This is the iPhone 16 Pro. Everything in Miami. You said you got this one, the Pro Max. It looks the same. What do you guys think? Maybe a little? I think the Apple AI or the Apple Intelligence will be out in a month. So 30 days from the original launch date. Let's see if we could find our live stream here. Let's see if we come up in search. Walks. Wow, Walks on Wall Street is the first one that comes up in search. That's wild. That's crazy town. That's us.
I had a congenital heart defect, and my whole life people were telling me that I wouldn't be able to have kids.
So this is what it looks like to stream. That's crazy. Are we allowed to leave it running, or is YouTube gonna ban us for that? Since we're here, let's do a little bit of impromptu market research on the Apple Vision Pro. We'll see if there's still a lot of customers purchasing the Vision Pro. Let's see. I haven't been in here in a long time. This whole section used to be just Vision Pro stuff. Now it seems like there's only one Vision Pro. This is the iPhone 16 Pro main display. So it looks like they moved the Vision Pro stuff to the back. Let's see if anyone's here buying it. Not many. There's one gentleman here trying it out. All right, let's head out. It was cool to see it. I mean, it is very late on a Wednesday night, and there still seems to be a decent amount of customers here. Now, Apple gave I wouldn't necessarily say guidance on the iPhone 16, but T-Mobile, and I think it was Verizon, said the order volume for iPhone 16 is above expectations. I don't know. I think I'm really going to need to understand some of the AI features before making a purchase, and none of them are out yet. You can see the Hello Apple Intelligence AI. It's cool marketing. All right, let's head out. Many of you are saying, wait a year. What do you guys think? I think this is one of my favorite shots of the night. overlooking 53 West 53rd Street. I know, my thumbnail always does show Miami. I'm not sure how to change that, to be honest. And my thumbnails are always in like 120p. It's just like my thumbnail is one big pixel. That's it. Man, I mean the contrast between that cube and 53 West 53rd. Hey, Sabrina Fair, what's up? I just got your message, by the way. I got your notification. I'm gonna take a look at it when I stop streaming. Who Dat Dave says, Tom, did you discuss Eric Adams being indicted on the corruption charges? We didn't talk about that because I think I started the broadcast when the news came out. We had multiple people kind of putting it in the chat. I just don't know too much about it. I got to read into it. But maybe this is good news. Maybe this will be a turning point for the city. Zia says, hey Tom, how often do you go live? So we do have a lot of new people here. So if you are new here to Walks in Wall Street, we do these live streams every single night, starting at 8:45 or 9 p.m. Monday through Friday, we walk around the city, we kind of discuss the current events, talk about the financial markets. Saturday, we just kind of explore a new area of the city and kind of hang out. And Sundays are our Markets a Look Ahead live stream. Yeah, and that's really about it. If you want to join us, feel free. It's a lot of fun. And this is that building I was talking about earlier, the new Extel building. Lastly, we do write a free investing newsletter for all of our subscribers. So if you do miss a live stream or you do miss one of our conversations, I send out a conclusive stock market research piece every other Thursday via our Substack. If you'd like to sign up for it for free, you just scan the QR code on your screen, punch in your email, and it'll take you to our Behind the Street newsletter. All of our archived research going back 2 years is on that site for free. It's a great way to support our work at no cost. So check out our Substack by scanning the QR code. Ooh, looks like we're in the middle of a media broadcast. Oh, that's cool. You can see the newsroom. I think we got in it. I mean, what a modern setup. I think they're speaking Spanish. Let's listen in. Yeah, I think they're speaking Spanish. It's literally just an iPhone on a tripod. They're probably streaming in 1080p right to the newsroom. That's very cool. That's so cool. Yeah, you don't need all those big rig cameras anymore.
Did that shit because it was his room.
Hey, Life, Liberty, and Guns says you do a great job with the newsletter. I appreciate that. Thank you for supporting. Very much appreciated. FB says, Tom, they are definitely covering Mayor Adams. You're actually probably right. But it feels as if they would be doing that coverage down by City Hall. Maybe it has something to do with Trump Towers here. We're actually about to walk right past Trump Tower. I'm taking you guys back to the office with me because unfortunately I have got to work late tonight. Friday is going to be a busy day. I have a few clients flying in. One from Israel, one from Singapore. Hey, what's up, Reggie? He says, do I ever sleep? Yeah, I sleep. Of course. Sleep is very, very important. Obviously, we have high security here for the Trump Tower. Trump Tower. All right, everyone, it's getting late. I think I'll call it a night. Wow, Who Dat Dave says, I'm telling you that the mayor probably got indicted because he started pushing back against the immigration crisis. I don't doubt it, man. I mean, we'll have to talk offline about that, but I think I agree. But everyone, I will see you all tomorrow. Thanks for joining. I really do appreciate your viewership. If you enjoyed the stream tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Once again, we do these every day at 8:45, so we will see you back here tomorrow at 8:45 p.m. Lastly, if you want to check out our equity research piece, our Substack, just scan the QR code, punch in your email. But until then, we will see you all tomorrow. So FB, Gary, New England Crypto, all of our moderators, Western Mass Dave, DM, Joseph Hardaway, Who Dat Dave, Paul McNeely, Scott, Sabrina Fair. Thanks so much. Felix S, Darren, always a bull market somewhere. You just need to know where to look. Alan, Professor Dario, Francis, Sam M, Jack Jackson, Tao Now, JTL, appreciate it. Tatted T. We'll see you guys tomorrow.